Okay. Today we're going to talk about why am I here? Why are you here? What is the point of life? Now, in the scripture in 1 King chapter 19, here Elijah was having a wilderness moment. He was on the run for his life and he got caught up in his own fears and doubts. He was feeling isolated and depressed. One of the greatest prophets of the Old Testament had lost his sense of purpose and perspective. He lay down hoping to die before Jezebel had the opportunity to kill him. He needed a renewed focus on God's design. He needed to get his eyes off himself and his personal fears. He needed reminding that his major purpose was to serve God. Nothing more, nothing less. Sometimes we need to be reminded. So I ask you today, saints of God, why are you here? Have you reached that place in your life where you can honestly say, I am in the will of God? I am where He wants me to be. Or are you going through a wilderness like Elijah? Here we see in this chapter that Jezebel wanted to kill Elijah. And when he heard that, he tucked tail and ran. His behavior was irrational, but that's the effect of depression on the human mind. It causes the sufferer to think in ways that are not normal. Depressed people often do things that defy logic, yet to them, their actions make perfect sense. Now, in verse 4, Elijah claimed that he wanted to die, and he asked the Lord, take away his life. Now, see right there, that didn't make sense to me, because if he truly wanted to die, he could have just stayed there and let Jezebel kill him if he really wanted to die. So thank God that he reads our heart and not the foolish things that comes out of our mouth. In the rest of the chapter, we see that God sent an angel twice to minister unto Elijah. When we are in a time of discouragement, depression, or doubt, we find that the Lord knows just how to meet our needs. Often he will deal with the symptom before he deals with the problem. Why? I'm glad you asked. So that he will put us in a position that we will be willing to listen. Now, if I have a headache and if I have a migraine right now, it doesn't matter what you're trying to tell me. It doesn't matter what you're trying to ask me to do. I don't want to hear. Only thing I want is something to stop this head from hurting. Now, once I stop the headache, then I'm willing to listen to what you have to say. So that's how God deals with us. If the Lord had tried to reason with Elijah when he was exhausted, hungry, and depressed, nothing would have been accomplished. Therefore, the Lord met him, dealt with his symptoms, and then moved on to take care of his greatest needs. You see, whatever you are dealing with right now may not be the real problem, but the Lord will deal with you right where you are. Depression or a spiritual dryness should drive us to desire and seek God. When you are hungry, you're looking for some food. You want some food to eat. That's what you want. And nothing will satisfy you until you get something in your stomach. In the same way, when we are walking in a spiritual desert, we should be panting for God like a deer panting for water. In Psalms 42, David was truly down spiritually and physically. He was wondering where God is. Tears have been his food day and night, yet it drives him to want God, to seek God, to find him. Spiritual dryness should drive us to desire and seek God, his comfort, his presence, his strength, his feeling, his help, and his love. Matthew 5:6 says, blessed are they which do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. We should be devoting ourselves to fasting, solitude, prayer during these times. Spiritual dryness should drive us to examine our lives. In our spiritual dryness, God might also be wanting us to examine our lives to see if there is anything in our lives that may be hindering our spiritual walk with Him and our service for Him. Now, after Elijah encountered with God, he arose and got back on task. He set himself aside and got back to fulfilling God's call on his life. He may not have understood what God was doing, but it was in serving God that life had meaning and he had a reason to carry on. We too, saints of God, have a reason to carry on. I asked you a question earlier. Why are you here? The reason why you should be here is that you want to serve the Lord. Amen? Amen. Paul reminded the Corinthian believers that we shall all appear before God to present an account of our lives. Sometimes we allow ourselves to wander from the path of the Lord and we go our own way. Or we develop a bad attitude, or we get slacked in our service to God, or we just walk into open sin. When we do these things, ask yourself, why am I here? People of God, Satan knows your weakness, therefore cling to Jesus. Satan will try every trick in the book to get you to turn away from serving God. James 4:7 says, submit yourselves therefore to God, resist the devil, and he will flee from you. God's plan and his work are just too great for us to abandon them for the devil's foolishness. We need to be on the job 24 hours a day because we know that Satan is on his job. His job is to get you and get your mind on your problems, your issues, everybody else's problems, because everybody else's problem can become your problem. You know, that's what Satan wants to do. The saints of God, that's what he wants us to do. He wants us to focus on all of this stuff that's going on in the world, all the things that's going on with us. Now, I'm going to tell you how he works. Now, if I have a situation and it's wearing me down, I don't want to, I'm just tired. I'm sick of this situation. Now, Satan will come and whisper in my ear, you don't feel like going to church today. You got too much going on right now. You need to stay at home. That's Satan. That's Satan. Don't think it's you. It's Satan just telling you to stay at home. Well, I used to sing in the choir, and I was singing in the choir. I love singing in the choir. I'm not going to do that anymore. I just don't feel like it. That's Satan. That's Satan. Have you noticed that anytime you're doing the work of the Lord, evil is always present? No matter what, evil is always present. Always. You know, and when God was bringing this message to me and I was just thinking about our church and everything and whatever, I really feel that we're going through a spiritual dryness right now. Y'all know we used to be a working church. Every time you turn around, we was up in here and the doors were open and we were all over everywhere and we was doing everything. We got to get back to our Father's business. There are souls out there that are counting on us and we can't give up. We can't burn out. And I know sometimes you get tired. I know you do. You have work, you have children, you have spouses, you have all these different situations. You have mamas, you have daddies, you have aunties, uncles. You got all kinds of people that are bringing things at you. But the thing is, stay focused on God's business. It is important. You never know what soul is out there that's dependent on you to pray for them, to intercede for them, to give them that word that they need. You never know if it's the person that's getting ready to commit suicide. But if you get all bogged down with your concerns and your worries and the things that you're doing and the things that you're going through, believe me, God is going to take care of you. He's going to take care of you. When you put yourself into a position that God can use you, he's going to take care of your problems. Don't worry about that. Pray about those. Give it to him. And see, the saints of God, we have a habit of start just focusing on me. It's about me. It's about myself. It's about what I want. It's about what I want to do. I'm here to tell you, I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. This is what I know. Because I was one of them. I don't know if y'all remember, but one day I did the intercessory prayer, and I asked God to give me a Holy Ghost transformation. That's what I say. I prayed for a Holy Ghost transformation because I was one of those ones. Anytime the pastor said, okay, we're going to do this, the first thing I said was, I'm doing it. I don't see why we got to do it, why we got to do it. And all along, that was Satan. Satan will have you. Anytime your leaders are leading you and telling you to do something and you feel yourself bucking on it, check yourself. Look in the mirror. Find out, why am I here? What's going on with me? Every time they said something, God can tell them something and they give it to us. Well, God didn't tell me that. He ain't speak to me. Now, I know he talked to me too now. Because I'm a level 2 elder. And I know he should be talking to me too. You know, we get big-headed like that. Y'all might not want to admit it, but we do. We get big-headed like that. You know, we get big-headed. You know. I'm saying, no, God didn't tell me that. God could just say, you know what? Now, if I tell Sister Nancy it's a blessing coming your way. Oh, I'm ready to receive it. Here I am. If I tell Sister Nancy, I need you to bring the message tomorrow at the park. Oh, see, she done shook her head already. See, that's what I'm talking about. She done shook her head already. See, that was an example. All right, that was an example. Lord, that was an example now. hey now. You know how the Holy Spirit move now. But see, that's what I'm talking about. You know, we got to be willing and ready. We got to open up and just let God have his way. You know, God said in Matthew 28:19-20, go ye therefore and teach all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Ghost, teaching them to observe all things that whatsoever I commanded you, and lo, I am with you always until the end of the world. God will be with us, people. You don't have to fear. You don't have to fret. Whatever it is, God is with us. So I ask you today, why are you here? Are you here to serve God? Whatever it is, whatever the job is, whatever the service is, it doesn't matter. Are you ready? You are your brother's keeper. We are all. If my dear sister right here is hungry, it is my job to feed her. It is not my job to say, I have never seen you before. I don't know if you ever seen me before. But it is not my job to sit here and say, well, you know what? That's her problem. I don't know her. That's not what God wants us to do. God don't want us to just minister unto the ones that we know. He wants us to get out there. But we as people have a habit of only wanting to minister to the ones that we know, the ones that we feel comfortable with. That's how we are. We only focus on those people, not the ones who we don't know, not the ones who need us. People of God, it's time. It's just too many churches around here for us to have homeless people and people starving in Jackson. It's too many churches around here. But everybody is so worried about, okay, well, I started this, so why you want to come in and take over? It's not about that. This is God's work. This is God's work. This is not our work. It's not your work. It's God's work. It's God's work. And God put this heavy on my heart. And it's no happenstance that the pastors are out of town at this time. I had begun to pray and I said, Lord, I need you to help me. It wasn't so a happenstance that I prayed for a Holy Ghost transformation before they left, because God knew that I was getting ready to deal with some difficult people. Church folk, y'all can be some difficult folk, different attitudes, different everything. He knew that I was getting ready to deal with all kinds of people. He knew that I was going to have a hard time trying to get people to volunteer for Sunday school. He knew I was going to have a hard time getting people to volunteer for welcome table. This is not my job. This is God's job. This is his ministry. He knew I was going to go through this. But I told the Lord that if don't nobody else go, I'll go. I will be at that park every Sunday, because there is a soul at that park depending on me to be there. There is a soul. People, don't get caught up in your own problems and your own situations. Don't get caught up with that. That's what Satan wants you to do. Get caught up in yourself. You don't want to help nobody. Come on now. Come on. We're here to help each other and to pray each other along. Amen. Like I said, why are you here? Like Paul and Elijah, we are created for a purpose. We're here for a purpose. We're not just here just for no. We're here to give God praise and to worship him in love, in spirit, and through fellow man. That's what we're here for. God has a purpose for our lives. He has a purpose for it. We should walk by faith in the path that he marks out, not the path that we feel that we should take. The path that God, and if you don't know your path right now, then I'm telling you now, you need to just fall on your knees and ask God, what will you have me to do? What do you want me to do? What is it that you want from me? Why is it that I keep going through the same thing over and over and over again? Am I not learning the lesson? Trials will come, but go forth anyway. Don't let nobody stop you. That's what Satan's supposed to do. He's supposed to do everything he can to stop you from doing his work, from doing God's work. He gonna do everything to stop you. You may be getting ready, get dressed and everything, ready for Sabbath. The next thing you know, you go out there and your car won't crank. Now, some of us will say, oh, nah, my car won't crank. You done start thinking about work next week. I got to go to work. Now, how am I going to go to work? Now, you done forgot all about coming to church. You forgot all about coming to church. You ain't thought no more about church. You done went out there and that car won't crank, and you done start thinking about work. Instead of getting on the phone and calling one of your sisters or your brothers and saying, hey, my car won't crank. Can you come pick me up? Now, as Christians, we are supposed to say what? Yes. We're not supposed to say, well, if I go way over there on I-55 and it's already 10 minutes before start, why she just not calling me now? Why she just not calling me? You supposed to say, sister, I'm coming. I'm coming to pick you up. We may be a little late, but we're going to go and give God some praise today. Because we already know God going to work that out with your car. Amen. Amen. Like I said, trials will come, but go forth. This will strengthen your faith and fit you for service. We are in the last days, people. The last days. Now, y'all know, y'all see it. Evidence are all around. All around. And Satan is trying to help you. Now, I said help you now. Because sometimes, we can be our own worst enemy. We can do some stuff ourselves now. We can do some stuff and then we'll blame it on Satan now. Hey, now. We can't do it, people. Nah, and sometimes Satan just sit back and say, I'll take that credit, ain't no problem. I'll take it, but it was you. But I'll take it. I'll take it. He's trying to help you take your eyes off the Lord and turn them to the world. If he can get you to focus on your problem, he did it. If he can get you just concerned about your business only, he did it. If he can get you to stop coming to church, he did it. If he can get you being late for church all the time, he's doing it. If he can get you quit from singing in the choir, he did it. If he can get you to stop volunteering and helping the homeless, he did it. It's time to look in the mirror and check yourself. It's time, people. Satan ain't playing with us. He ready to take us out. Because he knows that we are a force to be reckoned with. If we get on one accord with each other and pray, have faith, he know it. He knows it. He knows it. And I'm here to tell you now, if you have family members, anybody who wants to volunteer, because this is not a turning point thing. This is not a turning point thing. This is a God's thing. This is his mission, his ministry. I want y'all to start looking deep in your heart. Now, I know we supposed to go to a video and all the proper protocol and all that, however, you do it and whatever. But you know what? It's not time for that right now. It's time for everybody to take a look. Are you where you supposed to be in the Lord? Are you doing what the Lord will have you to do? Some people tell me every time I turn around, you over there at that church and you doing this and you doing that, and you always busy and you always all over everywhere. Okay, what's the difference in me being here at the church and me being at the boat, being all over everywhere and in the clubs and drinking and doing all that stuff? What's the difference? What's the difference? I done got to the point now I don't even shop like I used to. And y'all know I was the queen swiper. Wasn't I, baby? He know it. He know it. He know it. I was the queen swiper. He know it. I'm telling you. God had to work on me. I'm telling you. I'm still not where I need to be, but my husband I tell you. I'm even asking God to help me to be that wife that he called me to be. Because I can be some work. Y'all, he'll tell you. He'll tell you. And you know what? He brought something to me one day, and I don't even think my husband realized that he had ministered to me. He told me one day, and I can't remember. I was probably fussing about something. I know I was. I know me. Y'all know my husband is a man of few words. So I just be talking to the wall, fussing at myself or whatever, because he's not going to say anything. But one day he told me, he said, you know what? I just don't never know which moniker I'm going to wake up with. I'm telling you what he told me. Didn't you say that, baby? I'm telling you. He said, I don't know which moniker I'm going to wake up with. And I thought about that thing. And I said, well, what is going on with me? I had to ask God to help me. Why am I here? Why am I here? What am I doing? And he showed me some things that weren't pretty. It was not. 1 minute I would speak to people. 1 minute I didn't. Hey, is that right? Is that godly? Is that Christian? People of God. But see, I thought it was about who? Me. I won't study nobody. I ain't caring about nobody. I won't study nobody. But right now, I want you to examine yourself. Examine your attitude. Examine your life. I don't know what you're going through. You don't know what I'm going through. But we do know who knows it all. We do know who to give it to. Now, if we need a renewed spirit, if we need to commit ourselves again, I'm not talking about joining a church. I'm not talking about becoming members. I'm talking about God's work. If you know that you have slacked on God's work, and if you know you hadn't been coming to church like you should, if you hadn't been volunteering your service, there are people in the church that God has blessed them with gifts, and they hold on to it. They hold on to it. God didn't bless you with that gift to hold on to it. He didn't bless you with that gift to hold on to it. You know? And I mean, I was up all last night and I was just thinking, and it was just so much going on, and God was just saying so much. And the last thing he said to me was, "Why are you here?" He said, "Ask my people, why are they here? Why are you here? Are you here just to say you here? Did you come to church this morning just to say, I did come to church? And then when you leave here, you forget all about the fact that it's God's Sabbath day. That you start back doing your own thing and whatever." I never could figure that out about, I'm not knocking people that go to church on Sundays, but I never could figure out how is it that you go to church at 11, you stay until 1, after 1, that's it. It's all over with. You gave God 2 hours and you felt like you done did something. I done praised God. I done went to church. And then you turn around over there at the park drinking and smoking. I never could understand, I didn't understand that. I just didn't understand it. And it wasn't until I became a Sabbath keeper that I realized that God expects us to spend time with him. He wants to commune with us. We're the ones that get too busy and act like we just ain't got time. We sit there and we open that Bible. And he brought the ram from the burnt offering. All right. I read my Bible today. I done studied God's word. That's right. Going through the motions. That's it. We don't actually spend time with God like we should. Because if we spend time with God like we should, we wouldn't mind going over there to the park and feeding the homeless. We wouldn't mind making sure that each other have food to eat, making sure you get to work. We wouldn't mind doing that. It's a heart thing, people. This is a heart thing. And when I think of the goodness of Jesus and all that he did for me, what's the least I could do? Come on. That's the least I could do. Now just think, in those 3.5 years when Jesus walked this earth, now he could have simply said, you know what, God, I'm tired of these folks and they ain't trying to receive me and I don't want to, I ain't got time for that. Ain't that what she said on YouTube? I ain't got time for that. He could have said that. He could have said that about us. These old dry bone folks ain't trying to receive me. And you want me to die on the cross for these folks? He could have said that about us. These stiff-necked people. Come on. He could have said that. But you know what? It was the love that he had for each and every one of us. The reason why he stayed on that cross. It is love that shall motivate us, people. It is the love that you have for Jesus Christ first and foremost, and then each other. It's love. But the thing is, you have to choose it. You have to choose to worship God. He's not going to make you worship him. He's not going to make you, work in his vineyard. He's going to make you do it. He wants you to choose to do it. He wants you to choose to worship him. He wants you to choose to love him. Choose to love one another. There is so much hatred going on. So much I can't stand sister so and so. And you don't even, sister so and so ain't done nothing to you. Just the idea of sister so and so walked in the room. Oh, here she come. Ugh. Come on, people. You know. And you don't believe stuff like that happen. It happens. It happens. You know, it happens. But we gotta choose to love. That's a commandment of God. Because how you gonna love him and you see the ones each and every day and you can't love them? You can't speak to them. You don't care about what's going on with them. It's a choice that we have to make. People of God, why are you here?